Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. A Ripple employee is battling the Bitcoin hive and shredding Bitcoin maximalists on social media. And I want to share with you some of these comments because they are just pure gold and too fun not to share with everybody. And I actually, I'm going to share with you a couple of my own little back and forth that I had in this video as well. And so for those of you that are unaware, because there's always new subscribers coming on board, I've been in crypto since November of 2017, came in as a completely blank slate. I didn't want to believe or not believe anything other than whatever the truth was. I just whatever was true, that's what I wanted to know, that's what I wanted to believe. And so I wasn't sold completely on the idea of crypto, and not in the least, really. I needed to learn so much when I jumped in. And my aha moment was when I realized that you can have business models, thanks to technologically sufficient decentralized currencies, cryptocurrencies that have open market prices. You can have business models with those that otherwise functionally cannot exist. So new types of businesses and business models can exist thanks to this. And then as soon as I realized that, my brain just my simple Moon Lambeau brain exploded. And I was like, okay, at that point I thought, okay, crypto is never going away, because if a cryptocurrency can solve a real world problem, that represents value. And if that value is derived in no small part from an asset, then it deserves to be traded in perpetuity on cryptocurrency exchanges. So that was my personal aha moment, which is different than most people's. Most people's, they just come in and which is fine, by the way, but they recognize that the United States dollar is being debased, this and that, need an alternative, which is perfectly fine. I'm not disputing, like, I'm on board with that line of thinking too. It's just that my aha moment happened to have been a little bit different. And so in my very early days, I actually hopped on Twitter, which, by the way, I was avoiding like the plague for my entire adult life. At this point, I'm 37 years old. My whole adult life, while Twitter existed, mind you, I avoided it. I knew it was a cesspool. I wanted nothing to do with it. But I hopped on, and I did start an account towards the tail end of 2017, purely to learn more about crypto and to interact with the XRP community, because I was just in learning mode at that point. And one of the best ways that I went about learning like what was true about XRP specifically and what Ripple was doing was just to engage with the community and ask a bunch of questions. If you go on my Twitter, I haven't deleted anything unless there's like a typo here or there, and then if there's a tweet I deleted right away. Other than that, all of my tweets I've ever put out, they're up from the beginning. And if you go back to the very beginning of my Twitter account, which I actually haven't ever done, but I was asking all sorts of questions, and I was also doing a fair bit of lurking, just trying to understand what was going on. And so, to be perfectly honest with you, where I got perhaps the majority of my knowledge about Ripple and XRP, it was through learning from other individuals within the XRP community, and they'd share data with me. It's not that I was just taking people at their word necessarily. It was good to get their ideas and perspective, but it was also just sharing ideas. And so I like on this channel sharing what I believe and what I know, having to do with Ripple and XRP and crypto. And I'm not a know-it-all, though. I'm still always in learning mode, I consider anyway. And so I'm still always learning from other people that know other things that I don't about crypto and Ripple and XRP. And I just like this idea that we're a community and we can share with each other here. But I got so much out of this in some of the most entertaining moments that I had now, but even certainly back in my early days too, was just watching the debates back and forth, because I didn't want one side or the other to be right when I came in as a blank slate. I just wanted to watch them go back and forth and see who had the better argument. That was it. I was like, which idea is better? Which makes more sense? Which is logical? What should data and reason lead me to believe? And so that's why I want to share this with you, and I hope you enjoy this as much as I did here. And so I'll go ahead and jump into a thread now. And the Ripple employee in question is Matt Hamilton. He just started working at Ripple within the last, a couple months or so. And so he's been in the XRP community for years, though. He actually is one of the people that I learned a ton from in my very early days. And back then he was working at IBM as, I think, it was a software developer, I want to say. And nothing to do with crypto, but he knew a lot about crypto and Ripple and XRP, so I learned from him in my very early days a ton. It just so happens to be the case that now he's actually working at Ripple, which is a pretty cool development, because he knows quite a bit from the tech side and functionally how XRP works, how everything's positioned here. And so there was somebody named Isaac, and I'm going to try and read his tweets mostly as he wrote them, but I don't know. I don't know if he just had typos or if English isn't his first language, and I'm not being I'm not trying to be mean on that. Like, I literally can't tell. But I'll try and get through this. In order to make coherent sentences, I might slightly adjust what he typed, but it was a little bit at times hard to understand. But so somebody named Isaac wrote the following: emerging slogans. Cardano equals bank the unbanked. Bitcoin equals store of value. Ethereum equals high gas fees. XRP equals centralized, comma, trouble. What else? And mind you, I own all four of those. But XRP is my largest holding. But I read that, I was like, oh, XRP Centralized. And so Matt Hamilton, Ripple employee, took him to task. He is at Hammertoe if you want to follow him, by the way. And he wrote, what would make you think XRP is centralized? Isaac responded, you can look as find what you want. I think he means and. You can look and find what you want may not be what is real. And Matt Hamilton responded, no, as in N-O. He wrote, no, I know, K-O-N-W, it is decentralized. I'm asking you for your opinion as to why you think it is centralized. And then somebody named Brian jumped in here and wrote the following. What is the current state of the ledger UNL, which stands for Unique Node List? And how many nodes use the default set versus use their own customized unique node list? Out of how many nodes on the default unique node list, how many are paid money by Ripple versus operate it for their own needs? This will give the answer. And so Matt Hamilton responded with, there are 37 validators on Ripple's unique node list. Of those, Ripple owns 6. So, and by the way, I'll pause there. That represents about 16%. So Ripple has no special permissions over the XRP ledger. And then Matt writes, it is impossible to know who runs what UNL on their node unless you were to directly ask them. But I know a number of people that statically configure their UNL. And so, and I actually happen to have talked about the UNL in another very recent video. And Matt Hamilton was actually talking about it, which is what I cited in another recent video. And the bottom line is, you can't force any validator on the network to trust any particular actor. You get to decide. And so that's how a sufficiently decentralized ecosystem should work. You know, well, at least certainly the way that XRP is structured, absolutely. So if somebody comes in and is acting in some sort of malicious way, whatever that may or may be, I mean, there's only so much you can do, like to try and quote unquote like attack the XRP ledger. But if somebody's not acting in good faith in some capacity, then all you have to do is remove them from the UNL, just not listen to them anymore. And so it's hard to gain trust within this ecosystem and very easy to lose trust. And so you're not going to halt the ledger, this or that, just by doing that. And you can't force anyone to do or not do anything. It's similar to, if you think about Bitcoin, when people disagree about the proper technological path of Bitcoin, that results in a fork, right? And so if people didn't agree with what would happen on the XRP ledger, what should happen, you actually could have a fork. It's just much less likely with XRP compared to Bitcoin, because there's an amendments process, which Matt highlights in one of these tweets here. But there's an amendments process, and so people get to vote on what they want. And then if they still like vehemently disagree, you can just not update your software to follow that code, but then you're no longer going to be part of the XRP ledger as you know it. You can go off and I guess you can go off and fork off and do whatever, but like the way that Brian posed the question, like they're fair questions. I don't know that he's necessarily being a troll here. But I think that if you're asking that question, you still need to get to a point where there's an understanding that you can't force people to do what they don't want to do within decentralized systems. Like you just absolutely can't. People have their own incentives, and if they don't like what's happening with in the XRP ledger, you don't have to be a part of it, plain and simple. And then Isaac jumped back in and wrote, of what use of all that be based on the lawsuit, which is just a broken sentence. That's what he wrote. Can you say to what extent XRP is centralized, which is what we were just talking about? Matt Hamilton wrote, the XRP ledger has no central authority, hence it is not centralized. You know, one of my favorite things, there was an XRP community member who's no longer around, and I don't know what happened to him, but used to be very active. And what he used to do is when somebody would say XRP is centralized, he'd pull up a map, a globe, like it would just show a map of the planet, and it would show the location, the geographic region of all the validators. It's spread out over the entire world. And then he'd say, which one of these is the central point of failure? And obviously, there is no central point of failure. And it shut people up, though, pretty well. Anyway, Isaac responded to that, to Matt Hamilton, and wrote, and this is after Matt Hamilton said there's no central authority. Isaac says, and that is a valid opinion, which cannot force on other people who think otherwise for obvious reasons. It's not an opinion. So it's obviously not an opinion. It's a fact. And Matt Hamilton wrote as follows. It is not an opinion. It is a fact. It is something that is literally determined by the code of the XRP ledger. There is no central authority. You possibly think otherwise due to a lack of understanding of how cryptocurrencies work. And then Isaac wrote the following. He's really missing some serious pieces of information here and some serious understanding. He wrote, where do you place the lawsuit? Don't overlook it. It is critical. I don't know what he means by place the lawsuit. And neither does Matt. And he wrote, what do you mean, where do I place the lawsuit? I still have no idea what that means. I have no idea. Does he think Matt Hamilton picked up the lawsuit and set it down somewhere, maybe forgot about it, and now he doesn't know where it is? Where has he placed the lawsuit? Damn it, we need it. And then Matt wrote, the lawsuit is against Ripple, not XRP. You can't sue a cryptocurrency. And I didn't pull it up, but there was like, getting this point through to Isaac, it was like pulling teeth. I didn't pull up the other tweets because like these threads, they splinter off on Twitter, so it gets a lot to be a lot to track everything. But there was this back and forth between Matt and Isaac, and this guy just wasn't getting it. Like Ripple and XRP, two different things. One is a decentralized cryptocurrency. One is a fintech company in San Francisco, California. Okay, they are not the same thing. He was not getting it. I guess he actually thinks XRP, the decentralized cryptocurrency, is being sued, which will be tough because XRP is not sentient. That could be a problem. Anyway, into another splintered off portion of this. Or is this where I wanted to go? Maybe it is. Oh yeah, what makes you think XRP is centralized? Isaac wrote, the lawsuit. So the lawsuit against Ripple makes the decentralized cryptocurrency XRP, that makes it centralized. Matt Hamilton wrote, no, I asked what would make you think XRP is centralized. Isaac wrote, the lawsuit by SEC is the biggest point. This is fun stuff. Matt Hamilton wrote, right, but what has that got to do with XRP? Why do you think that makes XRP centralized? And he did not respond to that one. So we still don't know. We're left wanting more. We are definitely left wanting more. Happy to cut the cord on that one, though, frankly. Now, this one gets actually even more interesting. So Barry Silbert put the following tweet out. I'm starting to think this whole cryptocurrency thing is not going away. Now, Barry Silbert is very well known in the world of crypto. Here you can see 320,000 followers, and he's the founder / CEO of Digital Currency Group, which owns a number of other businesses, including CoinDesk, you may have heard of, and Grayscale, which is one of the largest, or it is the world's largest, actually. Grayscale is the world's largest digital currency asset manager. Billions and billions and billions of assets, crypto assets under management. And so this guy founded the company that owns all of that jazz here. And so that's what he tweeted out. I'm starting to think this whole cryptocurrency thing is not going away. Hey, I agree. That's good. And then somebody named Jazz wrote in response to that, well, for sure, Ripple and XRP are here to stay. That's a guarantee. And then this gentleman jumped in and wrote, Coinmaster, it's Coinmaster for you. Wrote, nothing granted, but yes, as long as they can dump XRP, Ripple will not go bankrupt anytime soon. And so now you get into this whole idea of, like, the dumping things, it's kind of a nonsense thing. Like, subjectively, people could have different opinions in terms of what is dumping. Now, Ripple has been selling XRP. Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, has sold XRP. Co-founder of Ripple, Chris Larson, has sold some XRP. If you want to call that dumping, you can subjectively decide that's dumping. To me, it's nowhere near sufficient. I know this to be true because it's such a small percentage of volume. It's nowhere near enough to, in any sort of measurable way, impact the market price of XRP. So I don't care. And also the money that Ripple has made in selling XRP, a ton of it has almost the most of it actually has gone back into supporting the XRP ecosystem. But, if you have a problem with businesses selling coins they hold to fund their business model, then you must be a Bitcoin maxi, because that's what about 100% of cryptocurrencies are doing that aren't Bitcoin. So if you really think that that shouldn't be a thing, fine. But people seem to only have a problem with it when it's Ripple, and then they ignore the Ethereum Foundation and Vitalik selling a ton of ETH. In fact, during the last market cycle, the Ethereum Foundation was convinced by Vitalik Buterin to sell almost near the tippity top when ETH rather was I guess it was probably close to $1,500. They sold a ton. I can't remember if it was like 70,000 ETH. I'd have to Google it. It was something crazy like that. And Vitalik actually publicly cited that happened. So I know for sure that happened. So it's just the case of these Bitcoin maxis. They don't like Ripple because it's quote unquote like helping the banks and the legacy financial system and this and that, which is an unsophisticated way of looking at the world. But they got a problem with Ripple selling and not anybody else. Now, here's an XRP community member named the Ripple Mafia who responded to that and wrote, "People like you are annoying. You have no proof of dumping anything. They control the amount released from escrow, yes, but they don't sell 1 billion a month. They lock most of it back up. Any selling funds the business. XRP is in digital asset after all." That sounds like a broken sentence. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I interpreted it wrong. Any selling is funding the business. That's what he meant. XRP is a digital asset after all. Yeah, which is kind of in line with what I was saying as well. And then Coinmaster for You responded, "Unless Ripple convinces banks to use stablecoins for settlement, it is just another ledger. Nothing fancy other than it is more centralized, which is okay if you want instant transactions. Stablecoins is on other chains now. XRP have the ability until then they are out of the DeFi race." So I'm actually going to, in this video, talk about this idea of stablecoins taking the role of XRP, but give me a minute to come back. I'll circle back on that one. Now, Ripple employee Matt Hamilton responded to that and wrote, "The interesting thing is that Ripple's original strategy, circa 2014, was to get all the banks to issue stablecoins on the XRP ledger, which was built for tokenizing assets. But they didn't want to, as they realized that stablecoins are inherently centralized. XRP is decentralized." And that's exactly true. You're never going to have a global solution for the train wreck that is the world of global settlement, unless you have an asset that doesn't benefit a single party. That is to say, another way to say it is an asset that is not centralized. And so XRP is the only cryptocurrency being positioned for that and used today for that purpose. Coinmaster for You responded, "Decentralized, that is questionable though. It does not look like it is like most other chains." Matt Hamilton wrote, "It looks more decentralized than most chains." And that's provably true. There's all sorts of facts to prove that, including, again, Ripple controls 16% of validators, and that's it, right? Which I already highlighted in this video. And then Coinmaster for You wrote, "What are you talking about? Gateways can freeze XRP and other tokens going through that is not censorship resistant, which is a big part of being decentralized, a decentralized ledger." And so Matt Hamilton wrote, Ripple employee Matt Hamilton wrote, "Nope, they can't. XRP can't be frozen. The XRP ledger has better censorship resistance than Bitcoin." So here's the thing. Unless Coinmaster for You, when he says gateway, if he means an exchange, like if he's referencing a cryptocurrency exchange as a gateway, like a cryptocurrency exchange can freeze the XRP just like they can freeze the holdings of Bitcoin or Ether or any coin for which they control the wallets. Absolutely they can. But that has nothing to do with something that's built into the XRP ledger. XRP can't be frozen. That was some FUD that was heavily circulating during the last market cycle, but here you go, remnants still left behind. And then the Ripple Mafia responded to that and wrote to Matt Hamilton, "Thank you for taking the time to educate the less educated. So many just follow people blindly and then get angry when someone with knowledge sets the table." And I do find that to be true, actually. All sorts of people get offended when they're presented with facts that are not what they believed the facts to be. They'll just deny them outright and frequently and just pound the table and get noisy. And you know the Bitcoin maxi troll sound. Bitcoin, no Ripple, scam coin, centralized, cottage cheese, blah, 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 blah. And so Coinmaster for You responded to that and wrote, There are no knowledge here, just claims of XRP being the most censorship-resistant ledger in crypto. Can make a centralized payment protocol with traditional SQL database, which is more censorship resistant than XRP, which made me laugh for the following reason, which Matt Hamilton called out. No, if you made something centralized, then by definition, it is not censorship resistant. Exactly. There's an entity that can control it, not censorship resistant. Comical times here. Then there was this thread. I think I wanted to jump in here. This may be correct here. So there was this thread started by Credible Crypto, and he highlighted a Ripple customer that utilizes on-demand liquidity, which means XRP as a bridge currency. And there's a little image here. I'm not going to read. It doesn't matter for the purposes of this video, but he's just praising how awesome Ripple is effectively and how it's changed the way that they're going to market. And so Credible Crypto tweeted that image with that text and wrote, "No, you're wrong, Alistair," which is the CEO of the Ripple customer Mercury FX. "XRP has no utility and no use case. I don't care what you say or that you are the CEO of the company actually using this product to settle payments 100x faster at a fraction of the cost. You are wrong, sir." So what he's saying sarcastically, obviously. And then you get somebody named Crypto M9 who jumped in and wrote, "Problem is, it's centralized. Team owns too much and they're greedy. Swift system works well enough, so in my opinion, no use case for XRP. This is why e-money never worked prior to Bitcoin." So this would be an individual who does not understand the Swift system. He's talking about e-money, which was just presumably he's talking about something that would have been used in place of fiat. Here we're talking about XRP used as a bridge currency, which is completely different. And so as far as the centralization aspect, I dropped the following science on him. I wrote, "XRP is decentralized. Ripple runs only 16% of UNL validators and has no special permissions over the network. Concentration of XRP holdings does not grant special permissions. Same is true for Bitcoin. No matter how much Bitcoin you hold, you don't control the Bitcoin blockchain." And so people have trouble with this concept, but holding X amount of XRP does not mean that there is centralization. You can call it a concentration of XRP, that's fine. But if you're talking about centralization, no, there's no special permissions given whatsoever. And then there was this, so this is splintered off. It's the same thread here. Here, maybe I wanted to start up here. Well, I guess I could jump down a little bit. He was asking about, so there are a couple things I wanted to touch on before wrapping up here. So one of them, he was complaining about the volatility asset. He wrote here, this is Crypto M9 again, wrote, "I don't mind volatility with an asset, but not for payments. I wouldn't pay with Bitcoin, for example. Why would I want to use XRP for payments with its volatility? You don't see such a high % of team ownership an issue, ? I do." And so I just responded with the following. "Ripple is using XRP as a bridge currency. The volatility is not a problem because transactions settle with finality in 3 to 5 seconds. XRP payments offer 1/10 the volatility of payments via Swift. Here is the math behind it if you want truth and facts." And then I linked to an article which highlights the actual math behind all of this, which is provably true. And so to his credit, he wrote, "If I see volatility won't be an issue after reading, then I'll reconsider." So we'll see if he does ultimately reconsider. But I even wrote here too, I'll just say, like, I don't want to use XRP or any crypto in place of fiat because to me that would just add complexity and friction in my life. My credit cards and my cash money works just fine. I have no interest in using any crypto in place of money. I just don't. And then as far as, what was the other thing I said I wanted to go back to? Maybe I can find it right here. Sorry guys, excuse me 1 second. I thought I had it pulled up. Client. Oh, it's a stablecoin thing. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know if I have the tweet pulled up. I remember what I wanted to talk about though. Yeah, actually this is it. Yeah, this is the right one. So, because it's at some point in he wrote, yeah, so why not just use stablecoins effectively instead of XRP? That's basically what he was getting at here. And so I just posed a number of questions to try and get the juices flowing up in the noggin here because using a stablecoin is not going to work. And so here's what I wrote. Who is going to position a stablecoin to replace Swift? What is the business model for that? What sales team will acquire new clients? Who will create automated algorithms to make the transfers happen? Who will offer customer support? How will this be profitable for them? And so good luck if you want to position, if you want to try. Nobody's trying to do this, mind you, for obvious reasons. There isn't a business to be made on it. You can't position a stable coin profitably to be used if you're going to be a business. Good luck to position a stable coin as a bridge currency. Look, Ripple is using XRP, and this is not a secret, and I don't think it's a bad thing. They're using XRP as a primary funding mechanism. You're not going to be able to do that so much with a stable coin. Good luck. And again, so nobody's even trying to do that, though. I mean, that speaks volumes to me. So take it for what it's worth. I think it's fun just having critical thinking exercises running through all of this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy seeing these threads and just having people bounce ideas off of each other. Luckily, there wasn't a whole lot of venom in the stuff here today, but sometimes these conversations can get pretty nasty. And it's almost always on the side of the Bitcoin maxi trolls that just don't want XRP to be a thing that has any sort of usefulness in life. That's my perspective. That's what I've seen, just having been here for over 3 years. But I will go ahead and wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.